All right, hello y'all, welcome. We are here today with Dubem.
What's going on, people?
It's good to get in the conversation. It's good to exchange some ideas. I think how we'd love to get today kicked off is just talking about how Dubem and I met. So yes. It was about a year ago, right? It was about a year ago. We were out in the town in Dallas, and like I usually do, I was just venting about the state of my soul and processing of life. And everyone was just going out and drinking and having a good time, but I was just processing a lot of sexual behavior of young people in their 20s as they go out to Dallas and as they seek out different sexual escapades. And I was just thinking to myself, you know, I don't know if this is what I desire. I don't know if this is what I really want to do. I don't really know what I'm doing out in the bars in Dallas. And I was getting into to a little bit of a deep personal self-reflection and confided in Dubem and one of his friends. Mm-hmm. And we chopped it up a little bit. We talked a little bit about different perspectives that we have on life and how sex should be implemented and stuff like that. And we talked for about half an hour, honestly, kind of randomly, like outside of Dallas, but it was it clearly stuck with us, and we've kept contact, and we wanted to sit here and have a conversation. But in the spirit of that, Dubem, what would you say is your view on sex? So sex is something that is obviously not really talked about openly all the time. It tends to be a taboo topic, and it's a thing it's always going on, right? Like life is sex. Like we are here because of sex, and we have sexual desires, and it's a part of life, but it's often not something that is really discussed, and there can be a lot of confusion and uncertainty about. So what is your own viewpoint about where you stand sexually and just with the topic of sex?
Well, man, honestly, like, I'll say first of all, like, sex is a wonderful and beautiful thing. I don't think anyone can deny that in whatever culture that you're in. I know some people use it as a power play, people use it as pleasure, what have you. For me, I think sex is like, it's really something that you get to, like, for me, it's like get to know someone else, like the intimacy. What do they like? What do they not like? You know? And then, you know, you do the foreplay stuff, and then you go deeper. So I think it's like something that it's enjoyable, it's pleasurable, but at the same time has a little bit of a meaning into it. Like, I don't really like to do like the whole one night hit and quit it type thing. Like, I want to actually be friends with the person. I want to actually know someone. Hey, are they going to get on my nerves? You know, during sex and everything else. But like, yeah, I treat it like a pleasurable thing, but I want to get to know the person behind the sexual thing.
Absolutely.
So that's what I think about sex.
Man. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, for me, it's been something that I've always thought about. I've had confusion about what is right. I grew up in a pretty Catholic context, so there's a lot of guilt and shame about acting sexually. You're only allowed to do it in the context of marriage with your wife.
Exactly.
And then if it's not within the context of marriage and your wife, then it's totally bad and everything's bad.
You're going out right there. Yeah, man.
So it's like a desire we have. A lot of people talk about it as a need we have.
It's natural.
So it's a natural thing. But the question is then, how do we do it if it's not complete abstinence, because that's not realistic, and it's not complete openness, because that's
depravity.
It's debauchery. Yeah. So it's somewhere in the middle, and I think for a lot of us, like in our 20s, in this over-sexualized culture, we keep asking ourselves, like, what is the best practice? And people don't know. But for me, as I've become more and more spiritual, and as I've leaned more into my relationship with God and my spirit and like really who I am, I've developed a higher regard for sex, to where I see it as something that is like a spiritual energy exchange. When I have sex with someone, it's like it's no longer a purely like animalistic sort of urge.
Talk on it.
It's something where I feel deeply energetically connected to this person.
Talk on it.
And so it does, like, it deeply does affect me. So it's something to where if I am interacting with someone that I don't know well, there's dissonance there. It feels off. It's like, I don't know you.
Exactly.
Don't even know your last name.
See, there we
go. And now we are having this huge energy exchange. If you think about it, to physically interact with someone, that is the most intimate that you can be with another human being. There's not another way to connect with a human being outside of that. So it's something to where now I have a huge priority that I place on really knowing the person, to making sure that they are like a good person, a person that I would want to emulate, someone that I would want to energy exchange with. Because if you're just deep, intimate energy exchange with someone who's not good, who's not desiring light, who doesn't share your same value system, who doesn't actually support you and isn't for you, who might, as you mentioned before, be trying to have power and manipulation over you.
See, there we go.
It's not a good place to be. Also, just as a man in this age, I also just don't think it's a very good thing to be having sex with women that you don't know. You can put a target on your back. Like women and men, people can be dangerous. They can be evil. They can hurt you. And when you do that, you can open up the door for issues. So I think I think it's something that deserves care. It deserves a lot of thought for. And I also think that true enlightenment in this world will not come unless we have a certain level of mastery over our sexual urge. We all have sexual urges. But think about it. Like, if you really want to be a man, like if you really want to be the idyllic man, do you want to be like some dog who's attracted to some meat, who has no control over his urges? Or do you want to develop a sense of mastery over this urge? Do you want to be able to, they like women can be flaunting themselves, but I'm unaffected by that. If you think about it, if the end goal is to be in a monogamous relationship, that's something that you have to ask yourself, because not everyone wants to be in a monogamous relationship.
It's a big if too.
But if that is something that your goal is, which for most Americans, that's how it is, especially women. Most women desire a monogamous partner. But if that's something that you want to be and aspire to be, then that is a habit that you need to practice now. You can't just get into a relationship and say, oh yeah, I'm going to stop watching porn when I'm in a relationship. Or I'm going to get in a relationship, and when I'm in a relationship, then I'm going to be able to honor her. You have to build that habit and that mastery now. And if you can build it while you're single, all the more power to you than when you're sexually active with a partner.
That's facts.
So that's just a little musing about sex.
I know we went down a little sex rabbit hole.
A little sex hole. But yeah, so that's good. But yeah, Dubem, I think the next thing we were going to talk about was modeling. So, Dubem, I mean, look at this man.
It's cat, man.
We're not wearing caps for this one. He is a gorgeous man, and that has not gone unnoticed. He has been able to do a little bit of modeling on the side, and I think it's something you've enjoyed. But something we were talking about earlier today was looking at modeling. It's something that I believe is a microcosm of this society that we live in. We live in this externally facing world. I'm going to post the best pictures of myself that I can. I'm going to post them to Instagram. The best lighting, best filter. I'm going to content aware all of my zits so it looks like I'm perfect. And then I'm going to seek the validation of others through likes and comments and a platform of followers to validate my own self, to feel like I'm enough, right? And what Dubem does with modeling is he is kind of like a microcosm of that bigger world that we live in. As he's modeling and putting on certain clothes, he's getting views from that. He's getting praise from that. He's making money from that, right? Like this is a side business that he's in. So I think it's so important in this world that we live in today to develop a strong sense of yourself.
Yes. But
even more important for Dubem in his role is to develop a strong sense of his self in modeling and within the world. So Dubem, I would love to hear you tell me a little more about how you've been able to build a strong sense of yourself. Where does that come from?
Absolutely. See, like the thing with modeling is pretty much like what you put. You portray yourself physically, you put it out to the world, it's there in the ether. So I think one of the beautiful things of when you're into a more physical space is to have a sense of self. Like you have to go to like a set. You're pretty much like the instrument. You're like a blank canvas. And what your job is to do is be that blank canvas, whatever, for whatever clothing, whatever, car, drink, whatever you're supposed to be modeling for or with, that is that mainstay. You're just this, or whatever auxiliary piece. So the way I go about things is like, hey, what part of myself can I give to this? So I sometimes can be a little witty, can be a little funny. How much of that can I put into this piece of work or in this project? And I think everybody needs to strive to do that, because once they get lost into saying, hey, you just need to be this guy, you need to be this girl, you need to be this person without showing yourself, then you lose all sense of your personality.
Yeah.
And that is one of the worst things you can do and the biggest disservice you can do to yourself.
Yeah.
So dude, I think it's like in modeling, it's imperative that you be professional. Yes, you know where you are, you know who you're working with, but still put yourself out there. Your most authentic self. And I think that's why...
How do you do that when there's no communication?
I mean, it's like, think about it. When you meet someone for the first time, do you want to like... I know some people like kind of want to be like posing as something else or somebody else.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if that new person looks at you for that fakeness and then the real you comes out and then they're put up by the real you, were they meant to be with you in the first place?
True.
Exactly. So that's why you have to be authentic. You always have to be authentic in everything.
So how do you, that's a really good, so authenticity, right, is also something that I feel like our culture right now is really striving for. We want to be authentic. Yeah. We want to experience authenticity. Like that's a buzzword today. So for you, how do you be authentic? How do you not be fake? No one wants to be fake.
I know. How do you not be fake?
No one wants to be fake. But how do you maybe we could start by being how are people fake? Like when we say, oh, that's a fake, like what do they do that's fake? And then how can we be authentic and genuine? I think that's a great...
Honestly, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think, man, I think at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want to take out of whatever, relationship interaction that you're coming out with? Like, do you just want someone, okay, say if you're wearing like a nice suit, right? Do you want someone to just say, wow, that's a nice suit. Can I take a picture of that? Or do you want to say, wow, what was your planning behind wearing this suit? What your mindset? Exactly. What's the mindset behind this? Is where you feel in a dark mood, or you feel in a godly mood, where you just want to be fun, jovial. So it's like those little intricacies here and there is like, okay, do you want to be that fake person? And honestly, it may not necessarily be fake. Some people may actually gravitate towards this thing. So, it's valid either way. But more times than not, you want to have that deeper dive of the person, of what's what's going on in their mind, all this stuff,
Yeah. For me, I think fake people are people that in their heart possess judgment. I think
that's a big one.
Yeah, that's just kind of something that's speaking to me right now, is that really like who they are is not someone who desires empathy and to like really connect with people, but they become so cold-hearted and judgmental that that's like what's in their heart, and they can't even help it. They're stuck in this to where they're and it's based in fear.
That's a big one.
To where they're too afraid of being judged themselves that they want to judge others first, because if they can get the jump start on judging others first, then, if I'm judging, how are they going to judge me? I'm taking the proactive approach.
Exactly.
And so then people are fake, because what fakeness really is disallowing others to know you. So that's kind of what I don't know. That's how I've experienced, I think, in a more deep way.
And honestly, man, it's like we all know not the same, but we all know the notion of like the worst judge of oneself is yourself.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to look in the mirror and say like, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that. You've known yourself for years, so you're going to be your own worst person. So it makes like, I don't want to give credence to people judging, because yes, sometimes it's on the false little thing, but you know, it could be the easier route instead of saying like, hey, this is what I need to work on. Why are people
humility?
Exactly. You need to be humble about this stuff.
Yeah. It's so hard to be humble. Yeah.
Karaoke time.
I'm working on it.
Look.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just like you really have to see like what people's intentions are. You know, it's like, do you think that they are being faithful? Are they being forthcoming?
Yeah.
So this is just stuff like you have to really think about.
Yeah.
When you meet new people, go to new things.
Yeah.
All that good stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let Lucy in because I'm tired of the barking. and she'll just.
I know she's patient with you.
Let me make sure we're still good over here. Yep, we're good. All right.
So,
We'll just move on to the next one.
all right. We got level 11 over here.
All right, Lucy, you got to be good because if you're bad, I'm gonna put you in a room. Okay. I know you just wanna. I know you're kind of confused.
You're a beautiful girl, but
yeah.
you know. They
Come
gotta
on.
do what they gotta do.
Why don't you sit right in the middle? It'd be so picturesque.
That'd be perfect. Yes.
Here, Lucy, come here, sit.
There we go. There we go.
Sit.
Right there. Good girl.
Just stay there.
Good girl. Okay. She couldn't help it.
All right, she'll calm down. All right, yeah. I'll just hold her like this.
All right, that's good.
That's
If I say she's yours, you can hold it like that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, Dubem,
What's up, man?
you had the opportunity to go on a TV show recently.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what that experience was like. I think a lot of us would love to be on a TV show, be on TV, go to LA, record with Jay Leno. This is big time, right? This isn't any small matter. What was that experience like?
Man, so like, okay, I'll tell you how like it got started, and then I'll go into that. So literally random day, got an email saying like, hey, we're looking for contestants for such and such season. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Let me look at it.
And what was the TV show?
It was called You Bet Your Life.
Oh, You Bet Your Life.
You Bet Your Whole Life. But, you know, so they sent me an email, and, you know, I said, okay, cool, replied to it. And then I talked to the producer, and then they're just saying like, hey, is there anything quirky that's happened? Any funny stories? Any talents? I say, yes, I do have a talent. So back in the day in high school, I used to be a part of a step team.
What's a step team?
So, okay, do you
dancing?
know? Kinda. But do you know sometimes in colleges, you know, like some of the black fraternities? Yeah. So almost like that, but you know, a little bit more formalized too.
A good friend of mine was an alpha.
See, I love the alphas, I love the kappas.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I did a little routine in front of her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, that was cool." I was like, "Okay, bet." So you know,
say less.
Exactly, say less. So you know, ended that conversation, and then I didn't think anything of it. So it took like weeks, almost like a month, and then I got an email saying like, "Hey, you're part of it." I'm like, hold up.
That was it?
That was
one interview.
That was it. Just one interview. So it was quick and easy.
Don't let anyone
in. Hey, listen, I'm about to say, got your plug. I got you. So, yeah, so I got it. I told some of my family, not too many people because, NDAs and shit. But, so family got excited. And then I think it was like sometime in July, flew me out, put me in a hotel. And
nice.
they were so accommodating. So God bless them. They were so accommodating. And then the day of the show, I was just like...
Were you nervous?
You know what? I had a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like
yeah, did you pregame for like
no, funny thing about
I
that.
Probably would have.
Funny thing about that, but this is technically the second time being on TV. But yeah, no, I went there, I saw like different castmates and all that good stuff, and then we went to the studio. Well, actually, we took a shuttle bus, went all the way to the studio. I was like, wow, this is
legit.
Legit. And then, you know how Jay Leno has that like kind of vintage car show? He had a dope ass Oldsmobile, like a dope ass one, just sitting next to one of the trailers. I was like, all right, he's here. He's him. Let's go.
That's a big name.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. It was kind of daunting too. But
did you meet him before?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So it was like very smooth.
You had a gradual.
Yeah, it's gradual.
Yeah.
Nudge you in. So they told us the rules, yada yada yada, and then they mic us up, did the makeup, all that good stuff, and then me and my partner She was very dope, by the way. We went inside, went to the main, corridor, and then boom, they had like the setup, and then you saw the audience, you see the cameras, and then you see Jay Leno with his co-host too. So
the cars?
With his co-host. With his co-host as well. Yeah. And then so we went behind, and then he came up to me. He came up to me in the partner. He's like, "Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?" And then just like what everybody said, how do you say your name? I was like, Dubem. But he was very mindful about saying things right. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so, we did that. We taped it. We filmed it. And then the funny thing about that, too, because when I was doing the step routine that I did for the producer, right? You see these beads that I have on here?
Yeah.
So I have, like, different colored ones. So I had, like, I think, like, gray one and some other stuff. And I had, like, a watch here, too. So as I was doing the step routine, I put my fist out so hard. So one of the movements are like this.
Yeah.
I did it so hard, two of the beats flew off, and this watch unhinged. We have to do a second take over that.
Wow.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude. I was.
You do it on the TV show?
Yeah.
Next? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on TV show because
I didn't see it.
Yeah, he asked like, so he's. I mean, the one that people know is like, I eat that food,
yeah,
like this stuff. But there was a part of the show where he asked me if I was part of the step team, and if I knew my dad, I said, yeah. So I did a routine. We had to do 2 takes because the first time this shit flew off, so like that broke. So I had to do it another time.
You're still wearing it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I still got it on.
Yeah.
You feel me? But
does it have any meaning?
Well, I mean, these ones is kind of stylish, but this one is the Nigerian flag. It's green, white, and green.
Yep.
My mom got it for me when she was back home. So this one is kind of like a little symbolism of everything.
That's dope.
Yeah, thank you, my guy. And then, so I did this. I did the step the second time. Nothing flew off. And then, thank God, went through the show. And, man, it was a surreal opportunity, man. So if anybody has the opportunity to, like, go to a game show, dating show, take that chance.
Take it, yeah.
Roll the dice, take the chance, go do that.
Have fun with it, yeah.
Exactly. Have fun.
We're young, right? Might as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's dope. Did you win anything?
I did win.
What'd you win?
A little bit of money.
How much are you talking?
Honestly, not. I mean, it's not that much.
How much did they take in taxes?
Dude, I don't even know yet.
Oh, you haven't received it?
Oh, yeah.
That was last year, right?
So, little disclosure. I don't know how much I want to talk about that, but
and we can cut it too.
No, it's fine. Okay. Well, it's like when you do like a show or whatnot, like everything it doesn't happen until later. So like we filmed the show in July, and then December is when it aired. So
on ABC?
On Fox.
Oh, okay.
Fox. So they did that. It aired in December, and then I think I don't know how many months they were saying, but like we're supposed to get it. So it's in the ether somewhere. Okay. It's coming, but it's like I think I won. I mean, you can have a decent vacation.
Yeah,
have a decent vacation. Yeah, but
a couple.
Yeah,
rent payments.
Yeah, a couple rents.
That's dope.
Yeah, man, but it was a good time, man. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Do you want to show us some of the dance?
I mean, as long as this is, I got you.
A quick one?
I got you. So it's like a little bit of movement. It's like this, and then it's like,
hey.
So that's part, it's a little work. I know, what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
You got Lucy excited.
I know, right? She likes a little step now.
That was good. I like the step.
Thank you, my guy. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, man. Besides that, we talk a lot about different spiritual concepts. We like talking about love and how we experience love in this world through the people in our lives and the things that we enjoy to do, and just different highlights of our life where we really feel alive, where we really feel connected, where we really feel grounded. So, are there any spiritual practices that you have that you want to share or articulate, or any instances that you've experienced love that you'd like to just share, just so we can be aware and present in higher vibrations of life?
Absolutely. Honestly, Well, I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and say this. Say like sometime last year, beginning of last year, I wasn't, going through the best of times,
Mm.
It was really kind of like going through the motions, like kind of autopilot. So life wasn't really that good. I think one thing that I really enjoyed through life is getting to know God and the spiritual energy through people.
Yes.
So it's almost like an instrument. I know one thing that really got me through is like talking to brothers, talking to family, other friends, meeting you on one time too, because that was another big thing. And it's like seeing the spirit go through other people while you're going through something, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. So it's like, it's like for people that you have in your life, even if it's an acquaintance. Because I know one good thing that someone told me is that some people are in your life for whatever span of time, you can always get something from it.
Yeah.
Whether it be a fling, whether it be your blood, whether it be, your work, someone at work. You can always get something from somebody, something either spiritual, knowledgeable, or otherwise, man.
And I think that is so insightful, Dubem, because a lot of people don't view other people that way. A lot of people will view other people as nuisances, as objects, as means to an end that we can manipulate and use. But what you just articulated was saying, I've experienced God in a relational way. I've experienced God through his creation, mainly people. And I intentionally live my life in a way to move closer to God when I interact with people. To where you're saying, I'm going to empathize, I'm going to see the best that I can of this person. And really we see God as love. The most valuable thing in our life is God. So what I think what you're saying is so beautiful. People and dogs are what make life meaningful. It is the people and relationships in our lives that really shape who we are. And I think your mindset is so on point, and that will take you so far as you create genuine connections with people, which is, I think, another thing that a lot of us in our 20s and 30s struggle with, is forming good relationships with people, good friendships with people. But to look at people for what they can be is such a great initial step.
Dude, and honestly, man, it's like, when you go with relationships, like, you have to, I mean, I say have to because it's a personal credo of mine. It's like, when you know people, be, I would say, empathetic, but just be understandable. Like, know their plight in some shape or form. You don't have to do a complete deep dive, but understand where they're coming from. Understand what, they find positive, understand what they find negative. And once you find that understanding, it makes things so much better and so much more clear and concise with how they are to you and you are to them. Than how you are to everybody else. And honestly, that's how I like to live my life. But, everybody's made their mistakes. I made my mistakes, but, I like to live my life being good to people.
100%.
And again, we're all human. We all make our mistakes. So it happens. I'm not going to say I'm holier than thou. I'm not going to say I'm furthest with it, but, everybody takes time to learn these things.
Yeah. And I think the key is that we're desiring holiness. Like, we're desiring goodness. Not everyone does that. Not everyone is, some people get callous and cold-hearted, and they give up hope, and it's really sad. I've been in hopeless places in my life before. But that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people that share the same values, that share the same ambition. You are a combination of your 5 closest friends. You will pick up the traits, behaviors, attitudes, and opinions of those around you. So be cognizant of that. Choose your friends wisely. Absolutely. They will become you. And yeah, man. So yeah, that's all that I have for you. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I have a question for you, man.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So, as a creator, how has your road been? How has your travel, how has your journey been? Because I know people kind of have the notion when they think about a creator, they think what we were talking about earlier. Oh, it's fake.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all glitz and glamour and all that good stuff. So, how, with you being on a spiritual path as a creator,
yeah,
how's that been for you, man?
Yeah, dude, I really appreciate that question.
Of course.
Because I think it gets at the heart of really like, how am I doing? You know?
Yeah,
it's just like, how are you doing? Like,
it's like, I don't know, but really, how are you doing?
But yeah, dude, it's I've been doing this kind of full time. I have other entrepreneurial businesses that I work on concurrently. But I've been prioritizing this in my life for about the past 2 months. This year, 2023. And I was telling you this, I had so much fear on the onset going into it because it was something that I felt a lot of fear of putting myself out there in a public forum for everyone to look at me. Because I was afraid of being judged. Yeah. But it's something where my whole mission in creating content is to share a message of love with people. Purely, that's all I want to do, is share a message of love with people, get people talking about conversations that is meaningful for nourishing their human experience, so that way they can be empowered to live their best lives. That's all I want to do.
Talk that talk, man.
So, because I'm coming from what I see as like pure intentions, it's enabled me to overcome the fear of judgment, because it doesn't really matter. Like, I think my heart is such in the right place that it doesn't matter if there's judgment, because it's not about the judgers. It's not the critic who counts.
Is that 2 C's?
Yeah.
It's not the critic that counts.
That counts.
You're right.
Yeah. It's not the critic that counts. Yeah. It's the people that identify with your mission. And I think for anyone watching, for you, Dubem, you need to find your mission in life. Why does this heart beat for the time that it has? And I think I identified mine. And that's all that I'm trying to do with content. You know, it's not even really like, I'm not even wed to the idea of doing social media or making content. Like, it's more so that I just see that as a medium to help people, because it is public and it can reach people. And I don't belong to a church right now, and I don't have an organization or person backing me. So it's kind of like, if I want to financially sustain myself while doing this, it's a medium to do so. So that's why I've been doing it. Being on my spiritual journey alongside of it is tough. It's so much noise. Like, you guys, like, if you're watching this right now on a phone or laptop or iPad or whatever, like you're inundating yourself with noise constantly. You scroll down on your screen right now, you see 100 different notifications. Let me ask you if any of those are pertinent to your actual livelihood, if any of those are pertinent to your soul and nourishing like who you actually are and from an existential perspective. Probably not. They're probably circular notifications that are keeping you distracted for the time that you have being staring at this metal box that's in your hand. It's something where it's addictive. It's designed to be addictive. And it's very noisy. I was telling you earlier, Dubem, I don't consume content. I don't scroll on my For You page. That's one of my rules on TikTok, is I don't scroll. Because when I scroll, I can't stop.
I'm telling you, it's catered right to you.
The algorithm is made for that. So I will literally go on TikTok for 3 hours at a time, nonstop, and I feel like it's my own enslavement. Like, I am a slave to this algorithm, to where I can't stop. I can't temper it. I spent so much of 2022 inside my house on my phone, watching social media, watching trash reality television, playing chess, You guys can hit me up for chess. I have a more healthy relationship with it now. But I would literally sit and play chess all day, and it was a way where like I would just consume. But as people, we are made to create. The masculine imperative is to create, not consume. So for me, because of all of this, I have to dedicate time in my life to combat these obstacles. So being on the spiritual journey, every Sunday, I make sure I spend time to ground myself in God's word. I read in the Bible, and I spend time in worship. I spend time in prayer, one-on-one time with God, no distractions. I make time every week for people in my life. There are people that I meet with every single week where we have no distractions. It's face-to-face. It's how are you? How is your heart? I'm going to be in your inner circle. For me, determining who is in my inner circle, it's a very easy two-step process. The first question is, are you spiritually aware? A lot of people are not spiritually aware. They're not really aware of their spirit. They're living for so many different distractions of this world, but they don't think about life outside of the physical world. They're not in tune with the spiritual world. And there's nothing wrong with these people, but at the end of the day, if you're not spiritually aware, then you're no better than an animal. Because you're just a responder to whatever impulses you get. We talked earlier about the sexual impulse and controlling your sexual urge. If you're not spiritually aware, there's nothing grounding you to something bigger than your physical body.
There we go.
So one is spiritual awareness. You can't be in my inner circle if you're not spiritually aware, because when push comes to shove, if I fail you, which I inevitably will, you just told me that we're all imperfect, you weren't lying, then how am I going to trust that there's anything holding you to overcome my failure? There's nothing. People, if you're not spiritually aware, people are only so far as good as they can serve you. So one is, are you spiritually aware? And the second thing, and that's a great minority of individuals in my experience. I don't know how you feel, but in my experience, not a lot of people are all spiritually aware. The second then is like a sub-layer of that spiritual awareness. So of all the people that are spiritually aware, the second condition is, do you desire the light? Do you desire goodness? Demons, evil, wickedness, it exists. It's real. It exists in our world, and you can pretend that it doesn't when you go on Netflix and you watch Love Island, but I'm telling you, there is wickedness in the world. There is evil in the world. There is negative spiritual forces that are seeking your downfall. And some people, sadly, fall into those. I'm a firm believer that people don't think ideas take root in people. And sometimes negative ideas and negative energy can take root in people to where people, as I mentioned before, lose hope. They grow cold-hearted and they go dark. Yeah. And for me, I need to make sure that in their heart, in their intention, and remember, intention is so important. We have a tendency to judge ourselves on our intentions and others by their actions. But I think it's really important to try to identify what the other person's intentions are, because that's all that they really have control over, is what they're intending to do. We live in a cosmos where there's so much going on that has nothing to do with your intention sometimes, right? So my second caveat is, are they desiring light? Are they desiring goodness? Are they desiring God? Are they desiring to be more like God? Are they desiring to be more like Jesus? If both those are met, then that is someone who falls in my inner circle. That is a very, I keep my inner circle extremely tight. It is a very small number of people, but that is how I identify it. Anyway, long answer long. This has been super important for cultivating my own spiritual journey outside of the content, but putting this in place has really enabled me to stay grounded. The last thing I'll say is I have been extremely disciplined with my workout regimen. I'm working out about at least 2 times a week. I begin every single day in the gym by lifting, and I also spend time grounding myself in nature. Every night I go for a walk with Lucy at sunset to experience God in nature and to get a little cardio in to make sure we're hitting that caloric deficit.
There you go.
So I think the body, mind, and spirit are all connected. And by desiring physical discipline and physical excellence, I've seen that carry over in emotional ways of my life, in mental ways of my life. I've never felt sharper. I've never felt more grounded to God by utilizing this vessel he gave me and trying to optimize it. Nutrition has also been a big part of that. So those are all different ways of how I've been able to stay grounded and really make the most of my journey with all this.
And what you said was extremely powerful. You had a lot of good points. A lot of good points. Literally some of the things like I'm doing now myself, like the workout regimen. Yes, like usually I have to stay, you know, at a decent physique, but now it's been an overdrive.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a freaking overdrive.
Yeah, you look good.
Thank you, my God. You look too. I see some of the veins here. I see some of the vascular.
We're working on it.
But yes, you know, like you said, doing it with physicality, doing it with your mental as well, doing it with your spirit. Like it's everything is to keep yourself at center. And yes. And honestly, when you were saying that, here's where the battle is, you know. You have your center, right? You have all the way good, you have all the way bad, you know. You try to stay at the center too good, you know. That's how humans should be, you know. So I would say is like for those that are really dealing with like the demons or, you know, in some perverse mind dealing with the angels too, figure out how you can get yourself back to center and figure out what you want to do. Because this is we're in a very, very small percent of the entirety of life. Yeah. Of an extreme, and almost like a subatomic level. Exactly. You know? Yeah. So that's why when we veer off our own path, that's getting us to, you know, a better understanding of, you know, life, love, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and all that good stuff. We need to know how we need to get back to center, what we need to do to better ourselves, how to better the people around us, and how we can, you know, move forward in life. Because that's the only thing we can do for ourselves. Yeah. So what you're doing, it's a godsend, it's a blessing. I encourage you to keep that up and tell others about this as well. Not being pushy, but letting them know that there is another path. Yeah. You know, because it is hard for a creator to be spiritual at the same time. It is, you know, you don't see too many people out there. Yeah. So the road you're going, it may be arduous, but it's going to be very, very, very good for you. At the end of that time, you know?
If I help one person, it's worth it. Like, genuinely, it's worth it. You know, like that's, I'm doing this for the people that I can help. I'm not doing this for the people who want to put me down. Yeah. So,
and honestly, when you do, like, if you do help that one person can change the world. Yeah. You know? And, and honestly, if your stuff makes sense, like even the naysayers, they will fall by the wayside or they will come to the flock. Yeah. You know? So if you're doing the work that you want to do, eventually everything's going to work out, man. Yeah, man. So I say keep going, man.
Yeah, Dubem. That's the mission. Amen. Is there anything else?
Yeah. You know what? I kind of want to get into a little bit of a little fun question. All right. A little fun question.
Hit me with it.
All right. So, out of all the cities that you've gone to, right? Out of all cities that you've gone to, which one do you like the most and why?
Okay, that's a great question.
All right. And then you've been globetrotting.
I have been all over the world. I have been blessed to travel all over Western Europe. I did a study abroad. I traveled all over Asia after I graduated from college. I've lived in Dallas, Austin, Chicago.
Cold as hell.
Yeah, I couldn't do those winters. I really, really enjoyed Austin. I was there not for that long, but I love Texas. It's cheap and the weather's good besides the summer. And Austin has a lot of nature imbued in the city, which I'm a big nature guy. Like that's one of the ways that I relate to God is through nature and his creation. So Austin was amazing. I had a church, Red Rocks Church, shout out, was really life-giving there. The people were just super open-minded there. And that was a really amazing city. So I loved Austin. I may be back there. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing with my life. But that's been an amazing city. In Europe, Florence was my home for 4 months. Okay. That was incredible, very touristy, so not really viable for a long-term option, but that was amazing. I really liked Budapest. That was one of my favorite cities I've ever been to.
By the way, every city they say, make sure y'all put a pin in that.
All right. These are the top destinations. I think my favorite place, which is where I got this star actually, was in the Greek islands. I went to Mykonos, Naxos, and Paros, and that was just so beautiful. Not a city per se, but one of my favorite places. And then from Asia, it would probably be Tokyo. I went to all the different boroughs of Tokyo.
Man, that
was incredible. We got our international driver's license, and we dressed up in Mario and Luigi outfits.
Nice.
We bought bananas at like a local market, and we were just like driving go-karts throughout Tokyo, throwing bananas at each other. People taking pictures at us. There's probably pictures of me somewhere in Japanese Facebook world. But yeah, so that, I mean, it was incredible. So yeah, of all the places though, you asked my favorite. I would probably say my favorite is Austin. Yeah. What about you? Did you have a favorite city?
All right, let's see. Well, I was born in Minnesota, so yeah, cold as a mother.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. But you know, I think I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, but I have fond memories.
Is that the capital?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
See, your geography, you're good, man. You're good. Got a lot of family, friends over there, so that's always like a certain part of my heart. But I don't know if it's my favorite. I will say though, I think the best or my favorite place that I visited, it would have to be New Orleans. And I'll say why. It wasn't strictly for the food, which is amazing. It wasn't strictly for the festivities, which was amazing. It was the memories back behind it because I went with my brothers.
When did you go?
I went last year, I think during the summer.
Not Mardi Gras.
No.
Okay.
I think it was Essence Festival. It was about to come up. Essence Festival.
Got parades every weekend.
Dude, freaking amazing. But yeah, it wasn't just like those things that, you know, that made it good. It was the memories that I made with my brothers. Yeah.
How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest of 3. And the tallest 2, which is good. But yeah, the memories that we made there, I was like, those ones I cherish the most. And honestly, I'm looking at the future too. I can have another favorite city, you know, in the next few years, maybe this year. But I say New Orleans was probably the best one because I made it with my brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's really interesting when we think about how we enjoy a city. Our interactions of that city are limited. They're limited to the places that we go. They're mostly affected by the people that we interact with in those cities.
Exactly.
So it's hard. I always find it really interesting how people will judge a city based off like one weekend or even a month or even a year of living there. It's like, were you able to go to every single restaurant and every single bar and like every single group of people?
Check off everything that you went to.
It's impossible. It's impossible to, in an accurate way, categorize an entire city by like a weekend.
Yeah, in this stretch, this little amount of time.
It's like people be like, what'd you think of Nashville? It's like they went for like their bachelorette party. They were like intoxicated most of the time. Like, it was amazing. Yeah, I'm moving. Like, it's funny to me. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go to a new city and they'll experience all the highs of that city. They'll go to the best spots, and they'll go with their friends that they don't see often, and they won't be working at all. And then they'll experience this high elation of and the drug that is travel. And then they'll go home and they'll be like, oh, I want to move there.
Exactly.
Oh, I felt good in that city. I want to live there full time. And then they get there and they have to work, and their friends aren't there, and it's not novel anymore, and they're like, "Oh man, this isn't how I remembered it.
This is what TikTok
presented." Yeah, but this is where I'm living. So it's just funny that but I think that's a very real thing that people do.
I agree.
So be careful when you go on these trips.
Be
smart.
Be smart, people.
Protect your heart. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, man. But yeah, That's good.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I mean, unless you want to do like another little fun one. I'm
Yeah.
myself, man.
You had another fun one? Or?
Well, I want to see how deep we'll go, but what? Okay, you've been to college, yeah. You graduated, you know, nice, brilliant young man.
Did you go to college?
Oh, absolutely.
Where'd you
go? Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raiders.
All day, baby. But what's one of the biggest regrets that you had back in college? What's one of the biggest regrets? It could be anything. It could be.
I don't have regrets.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe in moments I have regrets, but I let go of it. That's negative, like harboring of like attachments.
And that's smart.
Yeah, so I don't have regrets really with anything.
Okay. See, that's a very liberating way of thinking.
Yeah, I think you have to think like that because regret is just negative attachment. So I don't have regrets. Do you have a different question?
I guess this would be my last question for you, man, because seeing that you're on this nice creative path, what do you think will be, and this is very forward thinking, so you can take time thinking about this. What do you think will be your crowning achievement in your life? Wow. It's a deep, pardon my language, it's a deep motherfucking question. So, and honestly too, before you even answer, this, I'll say crowning achievement, it can be in any capacity, you know? I think
make it harder, make it more optionality.
But you know, I think this is like a question that some people should ask themselves. And like, you know, where is your life's work going to take you? What do you think is going to be good? You know?
Do you have one?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
no, just kidding.
In the comments, write what yours is.
Exactly. What's your greatest thing?
Oh man,
yeah.
What would my crowning achievement be with creation in my life?
When it's all said and done. What do you think?
I think. Oh man.
It's a mountain scratcher, my guy.
I think. Okay, several things. I think one will be a state of peace and unity I feel with God the Father.
There you go.
It's something I've grown tremendously in this year and I want to continue growing in. I think the relationships I have, like I'm hoping that my inner circle grows. That's my goal, right? It's never that it shrinks. It's that it grows with more and more amazing people. So that I grow my inner circle of connections and friends and colleagues. One day that I take a wife that is down to take this crazy journey with me and is aligned with my mission and who loves and supports me for who I am, and that I can create like a beautiful family with one day. Like that is a creation. That would be such a great achievement if I could create like a quality family. And then other than that, I would just say anyone that I can help inspire or help or motivate along the way. Like I don't have all the answers. I am one broken man, but I hope that my brokenness and my story can reach people to help them in their lives, because I've been at the lowest of lows of my life. And if there's anything that I can say or share or listen or anything that I can do to help others on this crazy journey, that's a dub for me.
Amen.
So, yeah, I think that's it. I benched 300 last year, so that was
hot boy, let's go.
So that was maybe 3 plates. Excuse me, maybe 3 plates. That would
see there now. Think of physical heart.
We got to put some gym content out there. Yes, maybe 3 plates. I'd say that would be dope.
Okay, see.
And then yeah, other than that, I'm open. I'm open. I'm open to how God shapes my interests and how I define achievement. He's already completely changed how I view success. So yeah, those are the crowning goals of my life.
And that, my good man, I love to hear.
Yeah. All right, Dubem. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can everyone find you? Like, where what's your Instagram? What socials do you have? How can people reach you?
Yeah, so I think the main one people can go to is Instagram. It's O_Dubem, and let me tell y'all, O is my first name. It's O as my last name _ first name Dubem. So O_Dubem. That's where you find my Instagram. I have TikTok too, but I'll keep it a buck. I don't really use it that much. So.
Good, don't use it.
Exactly.
Don't play around. Just follow my page.
Exactly. Yeah. So just honestly, just Instagram O_Dubem, and I'll be over there.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was a good conversation for you. And Dubem, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome, my guy. Much love. All right.
All right.
Yes, sir.